Here we are. It's Wednesday, November 6th, 2024. I'm Larissa. Time has come to drink from skulls. Yeah. So, there's going to be a lot of pouty people today. There were going to be a lot of pouty people either way. And my position is that either way, I lost, right? And so did America. It's just a question of what flavor of abuse are we going to be subjected to for the next 4+ years. Um, so, yeah. It's like, was it going to be, well, it's going to be war no matter what, but neither choice was a choice. And um, individuals are going to suffer. I've been suffering. Elon Musk is an abusive oligarch, and he does not stand for freedom of speech at all. He has attacked me personally um, in that regard. Um, I am banned from his platform for what they are calling hate speech. And what they are calling hate speech is me talking about something that was done directly to me. So I had posted about being attacked by a transgender person because I was attacked by a transgender guy. I was stuck with a needle in a public place at a roller skating rink here in Santa Cruz. And um, then after that, I had an injury of something tearing in my back and went to the emergency room at a Catholic hospital, Dominican hospital, and they did not treat me. So, you know, I talked about these two things. Now, these two things are on polar sides of the equation, right? Um, Transgender community, leftist liberal community being angry and wanting me censored for talking about being attacked by a transgender person, and right-wing community attacking me for being pro-choice. I'm a pro-choice conservative. There is no party for persons like me. There's nobody who has my interests at heart. So persons like me who are fiscally, economically conservative and pro-choice, right? And I'm not just pro-choice about women's reproductive rights. I'm pro-choice about physical autonomy of the human self. And liberals, left wing is not. And that was proven by, the recent legislations pushed through by Gavin Newsom, supposedly targeting mental health and the exploitation of the terms of mental health and suffering of people. So, you know, yeah. The thing that is inconvenient and uncomfortable for a lot of people to accept is that the Catholic Church, the Vatican, is manipulative behind both sides. You know? Yeah. So, the Democrats created this particular shitstorm by their fascist pushing of COVID lockdowns and policies and the fear mongering that they propagated. That fear mongering um, destroyed economic stability for a lot of people who were just tenuously hanging on to it to begin with, and made those like Elon Musk even more powerful, right? And they're manipulated by The Vatican. How is that? Through funding through their biggest lobbyist group and organizing group, the Industrial Areas Foundation. Yeah. Inconvenient truth. Inconvenient truth. Right? Where's Al Gore when you need him? No, Al Gore doesn't have anything to say about any of this. I just happened to use the title of his book or film or whatever the fuck it was. Him and his fascist, anti-First Amendment wife. Yeah. So, I was talking to an old timer last night. He's like, "Oh, do you care about the election?" And I looked at him. I'm like, two sides of the same wooden fucking nickel, because it is, right? America's been sold a wooden nickel, and the people who are going to pay most dearly for it are women like me, pro-choice conservative women, because left-wing nutjob women aren't our friends either. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, that's my 2 cents. All right. Yeah. Yeah. There's some assholes out there going on and on. Oh, it's Russian interference, blah, 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 blah. The Russians don't need to do anything to fuck with the ignorant American populace. The majority of people in this country are so fucking stupid. Yeah, stupid, right? And made dumber and dumber by by policies that have been pushed by Democrats largely, right? All of this, oh, you need medication. All this medication bullshit, all of this collusion with the pharmaceutical industry, it serves to dumb down your brain, right? Critical thought is not encouraged in this country. And those who engage in it are targeted are targeted largely by leftists as being mentally ill, right? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we've always been targeted by the right wing. Always have been, right? The Vatican and other right wing groups have always targeted and abused women. There's nothing new about that, right? Yeah. So, I'm not grieving or anything. It was going to be bad news for me either way. And, um, you know, poop is poop. Either way, poop is poop. Poop is poop, and you don't want to be eating it. So, either way, it was going to be a lot of shit sandwich for America. Yep. Special shit sandwich for women. Yeah. I worked on my painting yesterday. It's coming along. It is. I asked strangers about it. Showed a picture of it to strangers. What do you think? How does this make you feel? That's what I asked. How does this make you feel? And it's interesting because people are so conditioned to be like, oh, want to give nothing but positive feedback, not really understanding or knowing what positive feedback is. Um, like, unless you're saying something is, oh, really nice or beautiful, right? That's the only kind of positive feedback anybody knows how to give. Um, because there's such a focus on physical appearance, youth, and beauty, right? That there is a lack of recognition of beauty of thought or process or, you know, function of art, being decorative, right? Being pushed, the decorative arts being pushed over the conceptual aesthetics. And there was one guy, I made him real uncomfortable. He got up and moved. I was like, oh, okay, I understand that. That's fine. I'm not hurt. Um, but it was telling because this guy sits down next to me and he's like all jovial and friendly. I'm like, oh, so finally I say, oh, you look at art? I said, you ever look at painting? He's like, what, you mean like art? I'm like, yeah, you ever look at it? He's like, oh, if it's around, I look at it. I'm like, oh, okay. So I show him a photo. I said, how does this make you feel? He's like, oh, oh, oh. And he's like, it's good. Right? Like, and and I said, okay, let me tell you about it. So then I explained it to him, what it was. And then he was like, yeah, he's like, I was wondering. He said, those thistles, they're not normally red. They're purple. I said, yeah, exactly. But, he wasn't comfortable with asking that question, the thing that he saw, right? And that speaks a lot to American culture and the American psyche, right? Seeing something that you know isn't right, but not being able or comfortable enough to call it out, to name it, right? Not being comfortable enough to say, hey, that's not right. Something's wrong about that because you're afraid of hurting someone's feelings. He didn't know what to do with that then. He got real uncomfortable after that. I mean, he was like, I noticed that. I noticed. I'm like, good. I'm glad you noticed it. It was just, and that's where we're at. And that's how this election went. And that's the way our choices have been for some time. Right? Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. I'm the great and powerful Oz. The emperor has beautiful new clothes. Right? Yeah. Yeah. There are no choices. There are no choices for pro choice conservatives. Yeah. But there's art. I'm making it. It's just a question of who's going to be oppressing me now. Which side? Which side? Which side gets a shot at the oppression? Right? Yeah. Yeah. hmm So, people like to talk about the ethics of abortion. And it's unethical. It's not just immoral. It's unethical. No, no, it's not. Um, but you have to understand what the moral argument actually is, right? People don't understand what the moral argument is, and the moral argument is that during the end times that there will be a great war. It comes down to this prophecy. There'll be a great war between the Muslims and the Christians, and whoever has more baby soldiers is going to win, right? That's what it's about. That's what it's about. And that is why the Catholic Church changed its stance on abortion, on pregnancy termination during as a result of the Council of Trent. So the Council of Trent was convened mostly to talk about priesthood and communion, but it was also to review, go over the results of a global census that happened, and the conclusions of that global census were that Muslim populations were rising faster than Christian populations, and the concern was over having enough soldiers to fight in the end times. And so they changed their stance from the quickening, meaning um, abortion was accepted in the first trimester, right? And so then that's when they changed that stance. And that is why. It had nothing to do with morals or ethics of any real substance. It had to do with fear mongering of the end times. And so, because it was re established or reinforced at the time as the Council of Trent that women were second class citizens and lesser animals than a man, that abuse is permitted against women because they don't view women as equal animals, right? We're livestock, according to the Vatican. And the Vatican has its fingers in all pieces of the pie, right? Yes, that is true. hmm Anyway.